The entire airport froze. 14 trained police dogs had suddenly surrounded a little girl, barking, growling, refusing to move. Security officers rushed in, passengers gasped, cameras rolled, but no one knew the truth yet. What could a small child possibly have done to trigger such chaos? Before we start, make sure to hit like and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. It was a busy morning at the international airport. Announcements echoed, luggage wheels rattled, and travelers hurried through security. Everything felt ordinary, until the dogs stopped. One by one, 14 German shepherds on patrol froze in perfect unison. Their ears perked, noses twitching toward the same spot near Gate 9. Then, without warning, they moved, forming a circle around a small girl standing all alone. She couldn't have been more than 5. Blonde hair, pink jacket, clutching a tiny stuffed bunny to her chest. The air shifted. Conversations died mid-sentence. The dogs didn't bark wildly. They stood alert, protective, every muscle tense as if guarding something fragile yet dangerous. "Hold positions," a voice shouted. Passengers backed away, phones already recording. The little girl blinked up at the towering dogs surrounding her, confusion clouding her face. She took a trembling step back and whispered, "Why are they looking at me like that?" The terminal fell silent except for the low, synchronized growls rumbling from the dogs. Travelers froze where they stood, some gripping their suitcases, others fumbling for their phones to record. The girl's wide eyes darted from one German shepherd to the next, her tiny chest rising and falling with quick, shallow breaths. Officer Harris, the lead K9 handler, stepped forward cautiously, his voice steady but firm. "Easy, boys, stay." The dogs obeyed, but their eyes never left the child. Their tails were still, their bodies stiff. This wasn't aggression. It was focus. Pure instinct. "She's terrified," whispered a bystander. But Harris knew better. Trained dogs didn't react like this for no reason. Something was off. Deeply off. The little girl clutched her stuffed bunny tighter, her lips trembling. "They're barking at me because they know," she whispered, her voice barely audible. Harris crouched down, trying to meet her gaze. "They know what, sweetheart?" The girl blinked, tears pooling in her eyes. "Because something bad happened. I can feel it." A shiver ran through the crowd. The dogs growled again, louder this time, as if confirming her words. Whatever they sensed, it wasn't over yet. Officer Harris exchanged uneasy glances with the other security personnel. Something wasn't adding up. The dogs' formation, their synchronized focus, it all pointed to a specific scent, something serious. But what could a small child possibly be carrying? "Get her belongings," Harris ordered quietly. A nearby officer carefully lifted the girl's tiny pink backpack and set it on the scanner belt. The machine hummed softly, nothing, no weapons, no explosives, nothing at all, and yet the dogs didn't relax. Their eyes followed the girl, not the bag. One of them whined softly, pacing as if torn between warning and protecting her. "Sweetheart," Harris said gently, crouching down again. "Do you know why the dogs are acting this way?" The girl hesitated. Her small fingers fidgeted with the stuffed bunny. "Because I still have her scarf," she whispered. Harris frowned. "Whose scarf?" The girl slowly pulled out a crumpled piece of fabric from her jacket pocket. It was light pink but faintly smeared with something darker, something red. The entire room went still. Harris's voice dropped to a whisper. "Where did you get that, honey?" The girl's eyes filled with tears. "It's Mommy's. I lost her. And then the dogs found me." The sight of the stained scarf sent a ripple of unease through the entire terminal. Officers quickly cordoned off the area while others radioed for forensics. The little girl stood frozen, clutching her bunny, watching as her mother's scarf was carefully sealed in a plastic evidence bag. Minutes later, a technician confirmed the worst. There were traces of blood. Not much, but enough to suggest someone was hurt. Harris's stomach tightened. "We need camera footage from every terminal now," he barked. They pulled up the security feed. The girl had entered the airport holding hands with a woman, presumably her mother, just 2 hours earlier. But halfway through the footage, the woman was gone. No sign of her boarding, no sign of her leaving. She had simply vanished near a restricted maintenance corridor. Harris turned to his team. "These dogs didn't surround her because she's dangerous," he said quietly. "They're reacting to something else." One of the handlers nodded grimly. "They're protecting her, sir." Harris's gaze shifted toward the child, scared, shaking, alone. "No," he murmured, glancing at the dog, still alert and unwavering. "They're trying to tell us something, and I think her mother is in trouble." Within minutes, the airport transformed into a coordinated search zone. Officers moved swiftly through corridors while the dog split into teams, sniffing for the missing woman's scent. Harris's pulse pounded in his ears. Every second counted now. The girl sat near a security post, wrapped in a blanket, whispering to her bunny. "Please find Mommy," she kept repeating. Her soft voice echoed against the polished floors like a prayer. Suddenly, one of the canines broke formation. Rex, the lead dog, jerked his head toward the maintenance wing, barking furiously. The others followed suit, pulling at their leashes, their instincts igniting in perfect sync. "Move," Harris shouted. They sprinted across the terminal, following the dogs to a locked metal door at the far end of a service corridor. Faint noises came from inside. A muffled cry, a wrenching sound of metal filled the air as officers pried the door open. Inside, crumpled on the floor, was a woman, unconscious, bruised, her wrists scraped. The little girl's scarf lay beside her. "She's alive," a paramedic called out. Harris exhaled sharply. The dogs hadn't been warning of danger. They'd been leading them to it, and this time they were just in time. The paramedics rushed in, lifting the unconscious woman onto a stretcher. The girl broke free from an officer's grasp and ran forward, tears streaming down her cheeks. "Mommy," she cried, clutching her mother's hand. The woman stirred weakly, her lips trembling as her eyes fluttered open. "She's breathing," one medic said urgently. "Get her oxygen now." Harris stood frozen for a moment, staring at the scene. The girl's sobs, the dog circling protectively, the paramedics fighting to stabilize the woman. He finally knelt beside Rex, placing a trembling hand on the dog's head. "You knew," he whispered. "You never gave up." As details unfolded, the truth hit hard. The mother had been attacked and locked inside that maintenance room during an attempted trafficking operation. The abductors fled when security tightened. The blood on the scarf had been her silent cry for help. And somehow, through a child's fear and a dog's instincts, that cry had been heard. By morning, the story spread across every news outlet. 14 police dogs saved mother and daughter in airport miracle. But for Harris, it wasn't about headlines. It was about trust and the bond between man, child, and a team of loyal heroes. Days later, sunlight streamed through the K9 training yard as the little girl walked in, holding her mother's hand. Her smile was brighter this time, her fear gone. She ran straight to Rex, wrapping her tiny arms around his neck. "You're my hero," she whispered, pressing her cheek against his fur. Harris smiled softly, watching the moment unfold. "He just did what he was trained to do," he said quietly. But everyone there knew the truth. Rex hadn't just followed orders. He'd followed his heart. Sometimes heroes don't wear badges. They wag their tails. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss another unbelievable, heartwarming story like this one.